Just want to get your reaction to the DiJonai ejection and what you saw happen on that play.
In the moment, I thought that she made a play on the ball. I didn't think it warranted a flagrant 2. I didn't see the replay, when it happened. So that was my initial thoughts. But the officials made what they made. I haven't looked at that play since, so I really don't know if it was justified or not. But that's what I thought in the moment.
I put together a little clip of DiJonai Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA.
Yeah, so Carrington is a dirty player, probably the dirtiest player in the league. And then she has the audacity to go online right after her ejection and claim that she got ejected because of racism.
And then Cunningham gets into the face of DiJonai.
Imagine this. One of basketball's true legends watches a rising young star get targeted again and again. Now imagine that same star finally speaks up. That's exactly what's happening right now. The WNBA world is on fire. Chicago Sky's DiJonai Carrington is facing a lawsuit and a suspension after a hit on Sophie Cunningham that nobody can stop talking about. Before we dive in, here's a question for you. Has any player in this league faced more heat, more contact, and more controversy than Sophie Cunningham? Stick around, because the answer might surprise you. Quick note before we continue. If you're enjoying this, hit that like button and subscribe. Over 90% of you watching haven't subscribed yet, and it costs nothing but a second of your time. It really does help us keep making these videos. Already subscribed? Awesome, thank you. Now let's get back to the story. This headline says it all. Sophie Cunningham's season just hit a rough patch. After a hard hit on the court, DiJonai Carrington now finds herself facing legal trouble and a league suspension. Read that again, because it's real. Physical play in the WNBA has crossed a line into total chaos. So here's the big question. Has the league completely lost control? Let's break it down together. What's your take? Was this just rough basketball, or did Carrington cross the line on purpose? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Start the plays. Look. Yanking her hair down. Oh, that's a basketball play, y'all. And tell me if you notice a common denominator. Look. Basketball play, look. Basketball play. I didn't know you can rip somebody's hair out. That's a basketball. Look. Ankle injury. That's a basketball play, y'all. Look. Poke right now. It's not this many basketball plays in the world. There's not this many coincidences in the world. She went up like this and came down like this and poked an eye. Knocked her all upside her head. Now she got seats. Like, this is what you call a track record. Look. Not even going for the ball. Like, come on.
But that's what DiJonai Carrington does.
But let's not pretend this was just bad luck. Calling what DiJonai Carrington did to Sophie Cunningham an accident is like calling a mugging a friendly handshake gone wrong. Everyone saw the video. Sophie Cunningham didn't just lose her footing. She didn't simply stumble on her own. She was taken down, pulled down hard. The kind of play you'd only expect in some backwards version of basketball where the referees are basically blindfolded and hoping for the best.
It's sad. It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear.
Let's get one thing straight before we go any further. Basketball is a contact sport. Everyone knows that. Bodies collide, elbows fly, and toughness is part of the game. But there's a difference between playing physical and playing dirty. And that's where this story gets serious. Say what you want about Sophie Cunningham, love her or hate her, she plays with grit and fire. But she's never turned the court into a wrestling ring. No hair pulling, no yanking players to the ground, no cheap shots. That's where DiJonai Carrington comes in, and her track record tells a different story. This isn't a one-time slip-up either. Angel Reese was yanked down by her hair in a run-in with Carrington. Becca Allen was thrown to the floor like she weighed nothing. And now Sophie Cunningham's season is taking the hit too. This isn't just rough defense. This is starting to look like a pattern, and honestly, the league brushing this off feels about as believable as a politician promising lower taxes.
And then Cunningham gets into the face of DiJonai Carrington.
Let's talk about Sophie for a second, because this isn't some random role player caught in the middle of a storyline. This is a real competitor. The moment Cunningham stepped onto the court in Indiana, she brought exactly what that team needed. Energy, toughness, and straight-up hustle every single night. She wasn't just scoring buckets. She was diving for loose balls and playing defense like her career depended on every possession. But here's what really stands out. When things got tough for Caitlin Clark, when the target on Clark's back kept getting bigger, Sophie Cunningham stood right beside her. No hesitation. No backing down. That's the kind of teammate you want in your corner.
Sophie Cunningham went down. It did not look good. I heard her saying no from the court. It was heartbreaking. I am hoping, this is the hope, that it was more of like a bruised knee type thing. There aren't many updates as of yet, but she will be getting an MRI. So hopefully we'll hear something tomorrow. But judging by the way that the WNBA, expands on injuries, it's probably not going to be a lot. But my guess is that she...
Picture this. One hard foul, one split second on the court, and suddenly a season, a career, and maybe even a league's reputation are hanging in the balance. That's exactly where women's basketball finds itself right now. And once you hear the full story, you won't be able to look away. Basketball has always been a contact sport. Nobody's arguing that. Bodies bump, elbows fly, and toughness has always been part of what makes this game great. But there's a line between playing physical and playing dangerous. And that line is exactly what's being tested right now in a controversy that has fans, players, and even legal experts talking. Before we go further, ask yourself this. Have you ever seen a player face as much heat, as much contact, and as much controversy as Sophie Cunningham has this season? Stick with us, because this story only gets bigger from here. Here's where things stand. A hard hit on the court has now turned into a lawsuit and a suspension, and the fallout is spreading fast. Physical play in women's basketball has crossed into territory that feels less like sport and more like chaos. So the real question is simple. Has the league lost control of its own game? Let's break it down piece by piece. First, let's talk about who Sophie Cunningham actually is, because she's far from just another name on a roster. When she joined her team, she brought exactly what it needed. Energy, grit, and a willingness to battle every single night. She wasn't just scoring points. She was diving for loose balls and playing defense like her career depended on it. But what really set her apart was something bigger than stats. When one of the league's biggest young stars was taking hit after hit without a whistle in her favor, Cunningham was the one who stepped up. She didn't back down. She stood in front of her teammate and made it clear that nobody was going to push her team around without a fight. And now, that same player is out for the season. The injury looks serious, possibly involving her knee. Maybe even her Achilles, though the full details are still coming out. What we do know is that a hard, controversial play left Indiana without the one teammate who was willing to stand up for their franchise player. Let's be honest about what everyone watched happen. Calling this an accident would be like calling a shove a friendly handshake. The video doesn't lie. Cunningham didn't trip. She didn't lose her footing on her own. She was taken down, and the replay makes it hard to see it as anything but intentional. And here's the part that makes this so much bigger than one single play. This isn't the first time similar incidents have followed the same player. Reports point to an earlier moment involving Angel Reese being pulled down during a physical exchange. Another incident reportedly saw Becca Allen taken hard to the floor. Now Cunningham's season has ended the same way. That's not one rough night. That's starting to look like a pattern, and fans have noticed. Naturally, this incident sparked a wave of reactions online. Social media exploded with opinions, some defending the physical nature of the game, others accusing the league of allowing dangerous plays to go unchecked. Emotions ran high, and the conversation quickly expanded beyond basketball into questions about accountability, fairness, and how the league handles repeat offenders. Now, let's talk about the officiating, because a lot of fans believe this never should have escalated this far in the first place. When the play happened, the ball rolled harmlessly out of bounds while Cunningham was still down on the floor in pain. No whistle, no flagrant call, just play on. Fans watching at home were left stunned, wondering how something that clearly needed a stoppage got completely overlooked. This isn't just one bad call either. It reflects a bigger issue that's been building all season. Injuries have piled up across the league at an alarming rate. Caitlin Clark has missed a significant chunk of games. Now Cunningham is done for the year. Other players have dealt with torn ligaments and fractures. And yet, League officials continue to describe the physicality as a selling point, something to be proud of. But fans don't tune in hoping to see their favorite players carted off the court. They tune in to watch them compete. Now here's where this story shifts from sports drama into something much bigger. Legal action. Yes, the player involved in the hit on Cunningham is now facing an actual lawsuit, in addition to a league suspension. And honestly, if the allegations hold up, that response makes sense. When a hard foul crosses into reckless or intentional territory, and someone's career and health are put at risk, that's no longer just a basketball infraction. That opens the door to real legal consequences. Cunningham has every right to pursue damages. Medical bills, lost playing time, missed opportunities, and the financial hit that comes with sitting out an entire season. And this case could open the floodgates for something much larger across the league. Think about it. If this lawsuit moves forward, what stops the next player who gets slammed to the floor from doing the exact same thing? What if another player who felt targeted decides to take legal action too? This case could set a precedent that changes how physical play is handled across all of women's basketball going forward. And here's the most frustrating part of this entire situation. This outcome was almost predictable. Fans had raised concerns before. Commentators had pointed out rough tendencies in previous games. The warning signs were there, but nothing changed. Because controversy generates attention and physicality gets framed as toughness, even when it crosses a line. Let's compare this to what happened decades ago in men's professional basketball. Back in the day, the league eventually realized that letting games spiral into overly physical, borderline dangerous territory wasn't sustainable. After watching stars get hurt repeatedly, they tightened the rules. Flagrant fouls actually meant something. Suspensions had weight behind them. And you know what happened? The league thrived. Stars stayed healthy. Fans got to watch their favorite players night after night, instead of reading injury reports. Women's basketball seems to be facing that exact same crossroads right now, just years behind schedule. And we can't ignore the ripple effect this has on the league's brightest young star. Whether people love her or not, so much of this season's storyline circles back to her. Cunningham was one of the few teammates who consistently had her back, someone who absorbed contact, pushed back against rough play, and made it clear that her team wasn't an easy target. With Cunningham sidelined, that protection is gone. And it's fair to wonder whether opposing teams will notice that shift. Will the physical play increase even more without her enforcer presence on the floor? It's a legitimate concern heading into the rest of the season. Meanwhile, teams around the league are already dealing with a serious wave of injuries. Missed games, torn ligaments, fractures, the list keeps growing. And instead of directly addressing the root of the problem, there's a tendency to explain it away as bad luck or player overuse rather than confronting whether officiating and accountability are actually part of the issue. Fans themselves are split right down the middle on how to feel about all of this. Some believe the suspended player deserves a much harsher punishment, arguing that a pattern like this shouldn't be tolerated. Others argue physical play is simply part of competitive basketball and that people are overreacting. But here's the thing. The moment it's someone's own favorite player getting hurt, opinions tend to shift fast. And once again, the officiating deserves scrutiny here too. If dangerous plays had been flagged and penalized earlier in the season, maybe this specific incident never happens. Maybe Cunningham is still healthy right now. But instead, plays like this kept getting waved off, and eventually, the consequences caught up with everyone. Here's what makes this whole situation even more disappointing. This league has fought hard for years to get more attention, more viewers, more respect. And now that stars like Clark and Cunningham have finally delivered that spotlight, the on-court product is starting to look chaotic instead of competitive. Lawsuits, season-ending injuries, and questionable officiating don't help grow the game. They put it at risk. So where does this leave everything moving forward? The league has a real opportunity here to actually make a change. Increase accountability for dangerous plays. Retrain officials to call things consistently. Prioritize player safety over the appearance of toughness. Will they actually do it? Based on how situations like this have been handled before, it's fair to have doubts. Usually, there's a statement, a short suspension, and then the cycle repeats with the next unfortunate incident. But for Sophie Cunningham, this isn't just a headline. This is her season, her health, and possibly the trajectory of her career on the line. Injuries like this don't simply disappear. They linger, They affect performance, and sometimes they change the entire path of an athlete's future. So here's where things stand right now. A suspension has been handed down. A lawsuit has been filed. Cunningham's season is over, and the future of her team just got a whole lot more uncertain. Once again, questions are swirling about whether league leadership is doing enough to protect its players. So now it's your turn. Do you think this suspension was fair, or should the punishment have gone further? Do you believe this lawsuit could actually change how the league handles physical play going forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, share this with a fellow basketball fan, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next big update in this story.